Yes, that was what I ran on my campaign. I stand by that. But now I'm on the inside and I see the picture more realistic. And whenever I look at my budgets in every single department, and I see that overtime is used as the norm as opposed to the means, then I am concerned that somebody's mastering an antiquated system here for the sake of getting extra money on their paycheck. And I repeat that. Whenever I see overtime is being used as the norm and not as the means, and the means meaning that if there's a crisis in the city, a snowstorm, an ice storm, a Susquehanna flood, and I got to activate extra personnel, people long beyond their normal hours, that's the means for which we use to get overtime. But when I see every day, every single day, my fire department is incurring overtime because of a contract they have that says I have to keep 16 men at all times on duty, and if I go below a 16 man, I kick in overtime automatically. As opposed to collapsing 2 fire stations, laying off some firemen, renegotiating a union contract where I can get out of the 16-man mandatory so that it doesn't kick me into overtime, looking at my police department that I certainly don't want to compromise because I said public safety is non-negotiable. I stand by that. But when I have to look at overtime as being used as a norm to increase salaries, then I've got to look at some internal budgetary controls, cost-saving measures, and ultimately public financial reform. People have to, I think most of this is about education. How do I get the word out that this is not Linda Thompson making bloopers and blumpers and being incompetent? It's about Linda Thompson getting the right information, dissecting it, and making decisive decisions to save the city. And to take the burden off the back to the taxpayers. If I showed you these union contracts, by the way, that were opened before they were even up for renewal, I asked this community, will they sit by and accept the fact that Mayor Reed opened union contracts 5 days before I took into office, which was illegal? Because I got a legal opinion that says no outgoing administration shall impose a contract on a new administration. I can take the route of suing Steve Reed for doing that. But I'm not going to do it. But what I am going to do is put the unions on notice that those contracts are going to get reopened. Do I have some more fights to go down the road? Yes, I do. But the people need to be educated to know that they're getting bamboozled by particular interest groups. And they're taking the focus off of that interest group and putting it on me. And I'm not the enemy here. I'm looking for a permanent solution. I'm looking to save the next generations, and I'm not worried about the next election. Some have said out there, oh, she's going to be a one-time mayor. Well, if you have control over my destiny, then good luck. But I'm not here for a popularity contest, and I think the more I educate people, the more they will not get sucked into this false reporting.
I was going to say, when you talk more about the union contracts, and you hear exactly, how this works, to me, it's like, I want to work there, and then...
Oh yeah, it's the sweetest place to work in town. You got the best healthcare plan, the best dental, the best vision. If you have a gay partner, that gay partner gets on the health benefits. If you have a spouse, she gets benefits for life, being a fireman's wife or a policeman's wife. If they retire, if you're a fireman and I buy your uniforms, and I do, and you never use those uniforms and you still keep them in the wrapper, I reimburse you 50%. I buy your uniforms, Melissa, and you never use them, and you keep them in the wrapper, and you retire. There's a clause that says I can buy it back from you. Not that I will, but I have to buy them back. I had one guy that walked out of here and I had to give him $3,000 for unused uniforms. Does Pinnacle Health give that to their nurses?
No.
To the doctors?
It's kind of mind-boggling.
And then so many months and years you get bonus checks just for getting bonus checks because of longevity. You ask the man on the unemployment line who works for his company for 28 years, and he gets laid off. Did that company give him a $2,000 bonus check for longevity. These are the kinds of contracts that I inherited.
Right.
And people have a saying that don't mess with the union because they can mess with your election. I'm not worried about that. I am called to really put into place some reform. Some reform. Public reform. Financial reform. And I'm ready to do battle on behalf of the citizens of Harrisburg. So at the end of the day, do I sleep well at night? Yes. And that's why it's critical that I let the people know so that I can get smart, sharp people from the outside looking in and say, hey, I want to get some pro bono service. I don't like these contracts, or I don't like this. Listen, we have some of the best union workers who come to work, do their job. But this is not personal. I value hardworking employees and want to keep them. This is about doing what is right for the citizens of Harrisburg and its budget.
Do you think, like the police and fire unions, are they willing to reopen these? I mean, it just sounds outrageous, the things that they're getting. And
listen, well, let me say this. I met with every single independent union, mid-level leader and top leader, and I put them all on notice. We've got to go back to the table and open up these contracts. Because if they're not willing to do that, and I am mandated to do budget reform, the tough decisions come with layoffs. It's just going through that budget and start striking out line items.
Wow.
And we can't afford to do that.
Right, I mean, if they're saying
if they're not willing, exactly. If they're not willing to give and take, so.
Goes back to the compromise.
Yes, and the sacrifice.
Okay.
And so it's not